My name is Shane Neville and I'm the producer on Company of Heroes Opposing Fronts. Opposing Fronts is the new chapter in the Company of Heroes experience and introduces 2 full playable campaigns as well as 2 additional armies. We'll be taking a look at those armies today, the British Second Army and the Panzer Elite. This is one of our new multiplayer maps based on Juno Beach in Normandy. The first thing you'll notice is that it's raining. Weather and time of day transitions are some of the new enhancements we've added to Company of Heroes Opposing Fronts. Players will be able to set time of day and weather for all multiplayer maps, adding a new level of immersion to Company of Heroes dynamic battlefields. Known as the Bulldogs of the Battlefield, the British are a defensive-focused army that introduces a more strategic playing style to Company of Heroes. With the British, we wanted to design an army that allowed players to dig in and fortify their front line with slit trenches and emplacements. At the core of the British Army is their basic infantry squad, known as Tommies by German forces, and seen here moving out to capture a nearby strategic point. Notice how the squad shifted from their assault stance in friendly territory to a patrolling stance when in enemy territory. When patrolling, British squads move cautiously, using the environment to maximum advantage. As a more defensive army, the British sacrifice speed for protection. As the backbone of the British Army, the infantry section is one of the most versatile infantry squads in opposing fronts. Each infantry squad can be upgraded with either a recon element, with a trained marksman, a Bren light machine gun, or rifle grenades. British armies are led by lieutenants and captains. If the Tommies are the backbone of the British, their officers are their eyes and ears. Unique to the British, the lieutenants and captains provide bonuses to any squads within their command range. Lieutenants boost the morale and offensive capabilities of all nearby squads and allow them to move using their assault stance, even while in enemy territory. We're going to move this infantry squad out and capture a victory point. Notice how the infantry is now moving using their assault stance. While the Tommies pack a punch alone, they are devastating when supported by a lieutenant. The Panzer Elite hold this point. The 221 Scout Car is one of the new units for the Panzer Elite, capable of securing territory and showcases why Panzer Elite is a vehicle-based army. Notice how the infantry squads react like real soldiers, ducking behind cover while engaging the 221. With opposing fronts, as with the original Company of Heroes, we want players to focus on making tactical and battlefield decisions, not babysitting their troops. Excellent. Target destroyed. After defeating the 221, I'm going to send the Tommies in to capture the victory point. With the point secure, it's time to defend it and show why the British are a defensive-focused army. British infantry squads have an arsenal of defensive options, making them pivotal when digging in on the front line. Let's dig a pair of slit trenches to defend this victory point. Slit trenches allow the British to create defensive positions wherever they need them. In addition to slit trenches, British infantry squads can build machine gun emplacements, mortar pits, and casualty clearing stations. Let's deploy a mortar pit and MG nest to cover the front line. As a defensive army, the British allow players to build up a front line and let the enemy come to them. The Panzer Elite are making a push. Although they are a vehicle-based army, the Panzer Elite also have access to some of the deadliest infantry in opposing fronts. What we are seeing here are Panzer Grenadier squads armed with Panzerschrecks and light machine guns capable of dealing with any threat. The Panzer Elite rely on half-tracks and elite infantry to win the day, epitomizing the term lightning war. Vehicles are at the core of the Panzer Elite. The Panzer Elite half-tracks can be used as mobile weapons platforms, and units garrisoned in the back of these vehicles can fire from that position. But against a well-entrenched British position, the Panzer Elite are going to need heavy firepower. And this firepower comes in the form of the deadliest tank hunter of the Second World War. The Jagdpanther is one of the unique company commander choices available to the Panzer Elite and showcases the devastating firepower that the Panzer Elite command. This Churchill tank is trying to flank the Jagdpanther. but as you can see, it's no match for its tank hunting power. An 88mm cannon mounted on the front of the Jagdpanther will tear through the Churchill's armor. These are M7 Priests, self-propelled artillery from the Royal Canadian Artillery Commanderry. Even the mighty Jagdpanther is not immune to the artillery of the M7 Priest, firing off 105mm high-explosive shells. Here, in preparation for another attack, we're deploying the mobile HQ to the front line and setting up anti-tank emplacements. Mobile command posts allow the Brits to deploy troops to the front lines and also secure territory. This means that British players only need to secure a few key sectors, and then dig in and defend and prepare for the battle at hand. One of the best ways to take out the British from an entrenched position is with artillery. These Nebelwerfers are a serious threat to the British position. However, the British have a number of surprises up their sleeves. Royal Commandos can be deployed anywhere on the battlefield. Commandos are elite infantry. They allow the British to drop behind enemy lines and wreak havoc. The Commandos can also land heavy gliders and deploy their air-mobile light Hector tank to the battlefield. However, the Panzer Elite are not done yet. This is a Panzer IV assault tank armed with a short-barrel, 75mm high-explosive gun. Avoiding the frontal attack, it's trying to flank the British front line and smash its way to a good attack position. And now it's time to call in some heavy reinforcements, the King Tiger. This beast of the battlefield has no equal. Even these Sherman Fireflies can only hope their speed keeps them in the fight long enough to engage the King Tiger. Having run into a wall of defenses in the center and commandos covering the left flank, the Panzer Elite are trying to move in and capture the final victory point. Time to call in the creeping barrage. As masters of artillery, the British have a number of unique artillery abilities, including the creeping barrage. This allows players to call in a devastating barrage along an attack vector that can cut off retreating squads in a hail of fire and brimstone. This concludes the demonstration of Company of Heroes Opposing Fronts, showcasing the two new armies, the British and the Panzer Elite. Company of Heroes Opposing Fronts will be on the shelves in November 2007.